Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Soulful Feasts, bite-sized information to nourish your body, mind, and spirit. As you can see, we're not in our regular studio today, so bear with the ambient noise, but I had to get this very special guest down for this episode. Today we're going to be talking all about dreams and imagination and how it can reveal so many secrets you might have inside. I'm here today with Dr. Stephen Aizenstat. He's the founder of Pacifica Graduate College. He's also the founder of Dream Tending, a new pioneering approach to understanding your dreams. And he just told me that he recently founded the Academy of Imagination. That feels like something straight out of Harry Potter. Hello, Dr. Stephen.
Hello, it's great to be here.
This is so exciting. Wait. We can't leave that hanging. What is the Academy of Imagination?
The Academy of Imagination is brand new, and we're working with dreams as portals, as openings to the deeper imagination, particularly in people's lives, and particularly in the world of today, how important that is to stay related to, connected to deep imagination.
You know, I completely resonate with that, and I think a lot of the people in our audience do, because I always say we often live up here and slightly detached from our body and our inner selves. And dreams are just this incredible way to get back to the inner self, everything that is hidden inside. So let's just talk first about the basics. What would you describe as dreams, and why are they important?
Well, they are important, that's the thing. And everybody dreams. We dream 3-4 times a night. We don't remember them all, but we do dream. And they do connect us to inner resources. Actually, it's extraordinary, the value of listening to, responding to dreams, taking the time in the morning to write them down. In fact, one easy thing to do, particularly after listening to our conversation today, people get interested in dreams, and as a result, the dreams will respond more vividly. And so tonight, before you're going to sleep, just take a journal right by the bedside, right? This way or this way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and listen for a dream. Before going to sleep, 3 times tonight, I'm going to remember my dreams 3 times, and in the morning, before the world comes in, before the cell phone starts.
Oh, that's the hardest part, yes, guys. Before your cell phone.
It's shocking how many people reach first for the cell phone, right? Over 80%, right? Yeah. But before that, there's something called liminal sleep, and that's the place where you can really listen to and write down a dream, even if it's an emotion.
It's really interesting because being intentional about it already shifts that energy for receptivity. Right? So if you, before you go to sleep, you say, I will remember my dream. So there is sort of like a mindful connection already to that inner realm.
It's like a friend, right? It's not complicated. That's actually very simple. In friendship, when we pay attention, when we listen, when we respond, the friend also will tend to respond. And dreams are the same. To the extent that we bring ourselves to them, they in turn will meet us, greet us. Yeah.
So what are some of the things dreams can show us? Now, I know there's lots, but perhaps top 3 or 5 that we can, on an everyday basis, use to access our dreams to help us.
Dreams are very helpful, actually. And think of it in terms of guidance, because we're going through our day, and there's so many things that we're into. We have our schedules, we have the obligations that are necessary, we have people we need to take care of, we have job commitments, there's all kinds of things happening, let alone all the material on social media. So that's always a hum. Yeah. And yet there's something else happening at the same time, particularly people, all of us that are in a state of life transition, we're between things, we're wondering which way to go, what direction to follow, and dreams will offer guidance. They do. They'll offer warning, whoops, that's not the right way to move. They'll offer a sense of affirmation, yes, exactly, right? And the key is to listen to the dream, to allow them to come forward and to share their stories.
I think it's really fascinating because very often we take them for granted, right? Oh, that was crazy. Or we think that it just has to do with what we saw during the day. Yes. Not that it goes deeper. Right. And, so like you, I'm an advocate for like Jungian psychology. We all love Carl Jung here, and there is also this aspect of the collective unconscious, right? These things that just come about in our dreams as well, that came out of nowhere, that
Yeah.
perhaps doesn't even have any connection to your everyday life. Maybe you
Yes.
can share a little bit more about this.
Yeah, well, two things you said. One is often dreams are dismissed. It's only a dream. And particularly for parents working with children, right? Dreams will come forward again and again, and sometimes they're scary, so we don't want to romanticize. They're frightening, they're kind of nightmare dreams. And as a parent, the first thing you care about is your child, right? Parents have an obligation. We all care so much about our children.
Yes.
And so when a child has a dream that's difficult, we are all often, it's only a dream, and we're doing it not because of anything wrong or punitive, but because we care about our child.
Yeah.
Yet a child then grows into an adolescent or into an adult, and it's only a dream, and they become minimized. On the other hand, dreams offer so much in terms of what we just shared: guidance, new possibility, opportunity, and they do connect both the personal experiences,
Yes.
what's happening in the world with me, to the broader experience, the Carl Jung orientation, the collective psyche, the collective unconscious. In dream tending, we go one step further: personal unconscious, collective unconscious, and the world unconscious. Particularly here in the Philippines, I mean, it's alive. It's actually an
It-
animated culture, right?
It is very alive.
Very alive here. And the trees, the ocean, the mountains, they will also speak in the symbol of dream. So when we listen, we're going to listen to their opportunity and to their plight.
I do have a question, right? So I think why people have a hard time, so maybe, yes, now I remember my dream and I write it down. But how do we start to make sense of it? So perhaps not really go into the depths of dream tending, but what are a few questions we can ask ourselves or steps that we can take to help better understand what our dream is trying to tell us?
Yeah, and that's the key question. So let's go through that step by step. First, writing the dream down is great. Second, take out the punctuation, the periods, the commas, the capitalization. Just let the dream flow, right? You're listening to a story, and the story is being told not from the rational mind, but from a different source, a resource. So that's the beginning place. Then, notice in the dream, is there anything odd, peculiar, out of the ordinary? What about this dream is something a little different or unique? Bring your attention to that image or that set of images. Still, don't bring your rational mind. I mean, we will do that. But at the beginning, take the moment and just doodle that, or just give it a little sketch. Just allow it to come forward, to open, to enhance a bit. Listen to the story that's being shared.
That's interesting. So really latching on to what is unusual in the dream
Yes.
as well, and really trying to open through it. Details are important, correct? So I remember when we did our course, so I did a class with Dr. Aizenstat, and we actually analyzed one of my dreams, and how fitting. I knew we were having our discussion today, and I had a really strange dream last night that involved hippos. And I'm like, why are there hippos in my dream? But it was actually when I went through those small details where the symbolism was completely unlocked. It was when I actually took a look at the colors of this person in my dream's pocket square, where all the symbolism came alive. There were so many other things happening. And then it was the pocket square that gave it all away,
Yes.
right? And why is it that sometimes we have a difficulty entering that portal and going into that detail? What could be holding us back?
Well, first, we're not supported there. And there's not a lot of community, kind of not only support, but understanding or empathy.
Yeah.
So that holds us back. Often dreams are frightening, and we're scared of what we don't know. So it's discovering something that's not really clear. And the question we ask, just like you're sharing, is what does this mean? Or why is this happening? Another approach, the way of dream tending, is changing those questions. Who's visiting now? In this instance, hippo visits now.
Yeah.
Okay, very different.
So strange.
I'm not going quickly to trying to figure it out. Hippo's visiting now.
Yeah.
Not what does it have to do to me, rather, what's happening here? So we follow hippo about, particularly when animals come, and animals do come in dreams. Always follow the animal
Yeah,
and
so
see where that goes.
I am very sensitive to animal symbolism. Definitely all day, every day, animal guides come and visit me. And every time I look up their meaning, it is spot on. So I will be looking up what hippos symbolize later. But perhaps to really illustrate your point, I would love for you to share a story with our audience and how one of your clients went from here to here based on the dream.
Yeah. There's a woman that I just worked with, actually. She's late 30s, mid 40s, right in there. And she brings forward a dream. And in the dream, there's a dog, right? And she recognized the dog. It's her pet.
Okay.
Loves this dog. It's her beloved, which often animals are. They're domestic animals, and we have a relationship with them. Interesting in the dream is the dog was in the backyard eating the grass. Okay, so far okay, because dogs will do that. Normal.
Yes.
She noticed more carefully, though, that the dog was wounded right on its side. There was the fur was, mangy, and there was a wound that was exposed, and she got nervous about that. Yeah, and she kept noticing and noticing. All right, so we'll end right there. It went on a little bit, but that was the dream, and she brought it in to talk about. So what does this dream mean? Is there something wrong with my dog? I'm worried, right? Of course, that's the first worry, yes. But when a dream brings forward information like that, particularly when it's a known figure, like this, her pet dog, her beloved dog, wounded, noticing that this dog is eating the grass, which is somewhat medicinal.
Yes.
Yeah? When I asked her a couple additional questions, it's curious you're asking because actually over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been feeling something, in the pet dog, very familiar, inside. Yeah.
Okay.
First question I have to ask is, have you, explored medical, advice and guidance? Second, though, is the dog was really intent on eating the grass. So something was being brought forward. Hey, this is asking for attention. Dog is wounded. I am wounded. I'm not paying attention. I'm not taking this forward, and I need to do that. She, in fact, did do that and went in for medical help. And sure enough, what was happening is that there was an ulcerative condition really beginning to form. But now notice what else is possible in the dream. The dream offers guidance. Yeah? In addition to bringing my awareness to something that I was not aware of or I wasn't bringing enough attention to, it's also showing us something to do. And one of the things that the dog was doing in the imagery of dream is eating grass. So what I suggested is, in addition to your medical care, which is important, let's do something else. Let's also get something like rice cakes and clover honey. And every time you're taking the medicines that you've been prescribed for your ulcerative condition, let's make some honey and rice cakes because you're following the indigenous qualities, the medicinal qualities of the dream. Really helpful to her.
And also just sort of how interesting, right? Because our body speaks to us,
Yes.
right? And I think a lot of us out there, at least even myself up until maybe 5-6 years ago, we think that everything operates separately. We have our physical body, we have our mind, we have our energetic body, which many people also kind of put to the side. And then even when you're doing healing modalities, I notice, because I'm a Reiki practitioner, I notice that people don't integrate everything, right? So they'll come to me and be like, can heal my chakras and my energy flow, but then they won't integrate the other practices to their physical well-being? Again, is it something to do with your stomach? You need more grounding. Maybe you need your root chakra. You need some ginger. They don't take it, and then further connecting it to perhaps you have some childhood trauma that is also causing this flare-up. It really is an integrative approach, and your example is very much an illustration of that. That we tend to not listen to our bodies physically because we go. And that in her dream, it was telling her through someone her puppy that she really cared for was sick, and that caused her to take heed, because sometimes we respond better to someone that we care for more than to ourselves.
And we have a saying in dream tending: the body is always dreaming, right? That is not esoteric. That is not peculiar. It's just so practical. When something is happening in the body that's a little off or a little, it's going to send up a message. And the psyche is going to pick it up and present it in the imagery of dream. It talks about the wounding, the illness or the affliction or the condition. And it also talks about the cure or the remedy.
I like that though, actually, because I think we often think of dreams as either what's hiding or lurking inside or a way past, but now you're also talking about it as also a way forward.
Yes.
Right? So the solution, guys, is also in the dream.
The dreams are forever talking about our becoming, We have a question. I said two of them. Who's visiting now? What's happening here? What is the dream's desire? The call of the future, the pull of the future. That's where we discover our authenticity. Hey, that life that really is asking to be lived more fully.
I love that. So who is visiting now?
Yes.
Why is it happening now? And the call of the future.
Yeah. So who's visiting now? That's different than what does this dream mean?
Yeah.
What's happening here? Different than why is this happening to me?
True.
And what does this have to do with me right now versus what is the dream's desire? What is the dream asking of us in the world? Yeah.
That's beautiful. So you guys have to write that down, because those will be your guide questions tonight for when you wake up tomorrow. Just before we wrap things up, I want to maybe just enter the creative aspect, your Imagination Academy, and how can we harness our dream work to infuse creativity in our life, and what are some of the things that we can watch out for inspiration?
A couple things. One is, if we combine it with dream, allow the imagery of dream to come forward tonight. Perfect time. Let a dream come forward. And if it doesn't come tonight in sleep time, every day there are waking dreams, right? Or a dream that you're remembering as a result of our conversation, yeah? Notice what images come forward. Choose two of them. Usually one is simple, one is more complex, and sketch them. We don't have to be great artists. I'm not. And yet I love to doodle with the imagery. Allow them to come forward and just bring time to do that. All right, we're out of our agenda of the day. We're out of rational thinking. We're out of the rational mind. We are in a creative process. Yeah, that creativity really infuses a life with all kinds of wonderful possibility. One last thing. At the Academy of the Imagination, right? And we're working with children now. We're working with all the age groups. Are right now on 2 to 6-year-olds, actually. Actually, this is personal. I just was in the United States. I was in Washington State offering a seminar, and I was working with a really wonderful person. And I forever talk about doodling. So when people are in my workshops, somebody will share a dream, then we'll draw, and people will doodle and like this, and then present that back to the dreamer. So not just words and concepts and ideas, but actually imagery, creative expression. So this person said to me, look, have you ever doodled without taking the pen, which is what I was using, off the page?
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I've never done that. Never. So I thought, and then do that for like 10 to 15 minutes. Just keep going. I thought, okay, well, I am challenged creatively, right? I'm not the I'm not the artist. And yet I did that. And let me just invite all of you, truly, it is astounding what happens, and creativity blossoms. Oh my gosh, imagination opens. So for 10 minutes at least, you start doodling without intention, and don't take the pen, which is our tendency, off the page. Keep it on the paper and keep it moving.
No time to think, really,
No
actually.
time to think, yeah.
It's really interesting because every time I hear you or anybody else talking about allowing our imagination, creativity to flow through simple things like doodling
Yes.
and coloring, I really go back to thinking about how children have such unbridled imagination, creativity. The ideas of my two sons are like, my goodness, if you could, you would save the world.
Yes.
With these fabulous ideas. And
Yeah.
it's like we're taught as we grow older to like, these are not good. We
Yes.
shouldn't share them. And how funny that now, how ironic is that we turn back into these childhood practices
Yes.
to harness that creativity without overthinking, right?
Yeah, it's not childish, it's the child's play, the child's
Yes.
spontaneity. We're born with that innate genius from the beginning,
Yes.
the capacity to be creative and genius. It gets taken away so quickly, particularly in the cyber world of today, right? We're so quickly moved away from that. But to watch a child and watch that person in the spontaneity of play, but hey, for us too, as adults, start doodling. In fact, the new research is just absolutely clear and convincing. Creativity, doodling first, writing second. It just unleashes the capacity to write and to innovate. It's really remarkable.
Okay, I love this advice, especially for writers like me. Sometimes we have writer's block. This is such great advice, turning to other forms of creative expression before actually going in, especially if your creativity becomes your job.
Yes.
Then it kind of, the responsibilities kind of eat up the enthusiasm. So finding other creative outlets will help you feel it again. So that's really wonderful. I always like to wrap up the conversation with, advice or 3 things people can do right now or today that can help them feel better, whether they're at a crossroads or they're feeling stuck or anything. And if you would like to share that.
Walking outside, right? We will walk with intention. We'll walk to get to a place. Let's do it differently today. Let's walk with what I call soft eyes and focused eyes. In other words, we're going to awaken curiosity. Today is a day of curiosity. Okay? We need to get the job done. Okay, we can do that. Focused eyes, taking fingers like this and just scanning the landscape. Soft eyes, peripheral vision, opens up all kinds of different possibilities. We're putting on new lenses of perception. It invites curiosity. Where ordinarily we would take the right turn, all of a sudden we're going left. And pay attention to what meets you. Not what you're going to see, but what in the world says hello and greets you. And get curious about that. Curious. Opening curiosity.
I love this because, always, especially now when we have our mobile phones,
Yes.
we're like this.
Exactly.
And I lived in a time with no mobile phones, and I remember just being so creative. And I'm always so very astonished that every time I look up, something comes to me because I allowed it to. So, for example, one of my spirit animal guides is the heron, and it's not really a bird of the Philippines. And we live in a very, Metro Manila is an urban jungle at best. Certainly no herons around here. And I remember being stuck in traffic in my car, and I was on my phone and very stressed, and I had a big decision that I had to make, and I wasn't sure about my decision, and do I not? And I put the phone down and I looked up, and on the side of the road was a beat up old truck painted with a cartoon heron, and it said, Blue Herons basketball team.
Exactly.
Huh, right?
Right.
I mean, it's not even the actual bird, but
Yeah.
he's still there in his
Yes.
manila form.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I just needed to stop and look up.
That's right.
And look around.
Yes.
Right? So
Absolutely. A beautiful, beautiful example, right? The world offers itself to us. The poetics of the world. Focused, open, and Blue Heron shows up.
absolutely.
Wonderful story.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aizenstat. It's really lovely. I wish we had more time, but maybe I'll reach out another time and we can think of another topic while you're over there in the US. So thank you for, again, your insight and all your knowledge. Guys, if you would like to reach Dr. Aizenstat, I believe he also has some online courses,
Yes.
right? At the Pacifica Graduate Institute. So if you look that up, we'll put the links down in the comments, and then you can learn more about dream tending as well. And locally, we have the Carl Jung Circle Center that has a lot of courses. One of them is today, and I'm sure there will be more about dream tending and the like. So thank you again.
You're welcome. And not to be promotional, but a
Please
great way
promote.
to find all kinds of information, just what we talked about with exercises, dreamtending.com, and it's all available, all public, all free. So it's
Oh
a
my
nice way
gosh,
to
I love
access
this.
resources. Yeah.
Wonderful. So that's your homework for today. Get your journal, say, I will remember my dreams, write it all down, and please drop us a comment, send us a DM on Instagram, comment on the post. Let us know what your dreams revealed to you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Stephanie Zubiri for Soulful Feast, bite-sized information to nourish your body, mind, and spirit. Happy dreaming.